This episode was brought to you by Secret Potato. It's not dead.
Hey, you're back. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. If you aren't, I hope things get better. What are we talking about?
Who are we talking about?
Today, we're talking about the greatest story ever sold. If that sounds familiar to you, it might be because it's a play on the greatest story ever told. That is a movie or book that I haven't heard really though, so you tell me in the comments how much these two compare, okay? Like most episodes, we start off in the Sinclair household, late one night with the baby and Earl, reading bedtime stories. And of course, the baby, being stubborn, would rather make Earl question his very existence than go to bed, imposing a simple question. Where did I come from? Oh, you came from an egg. Short, easy, right? They come from mommies and daddies. And so on and so forth, because mommy and daddies, they come from eggs and yada yada yada, right? Well, that's not good enough for him. Because then it turns into, where did the first mommy and daddy come from? Why are we here? Why do we exist, And all very thought-provoking questions. And as you've seen from Earl the last few episodes, he's not really much of a thinker. It hurts his head. 'Cause yeah, what's the deal? Why are we here? What's the point of any of this? Why are we doing this societal escapade? What is the ah! Like an infection, he takes it to work, imposing it on his coworkers, and even his boss. And even Mr. B.P. Richfield is stuck really asking, oh my god, why are we doing this? Because, at first it's
Why you exist? So you can push down trees. So cities can be built for dinosaurs to live in. So they can push down more trees, so more cities can be built, so dinosaurs can push down. You're right! I don't know why we exist! Oh no! Ah!
Now I'm sure you're all asking, well, duh, it's to serve. Or in favor of. Or I don't believe in. You get the idea. But that's just it. There's a unique little difference with the Dinosaurs universe and existence. Christianity hasn't been invented yet, or any of the other isms. Religion hasn't been brought into question. These dinosaurs have been acting out and doing things without even stopping and thinking for once. Why? Who? What? Their primitive little society that's somehow also so advanced never stopped to question if there was a real reason for the whole societal escapade.
Escapade. An act or incident full of excitement and adventure.
Yeah, Robbie brings up these terrifying questions to school, his teachers, his peers. And needless to say, they don't take it well either. And so, in ironic fashion, Charlene chimes out, if only there was a way to stop the thinking. As Earl is having a migraine from all the thoughts, and Robert is absolutely excited. And so, what's the solution, you ask? Why, it's television time. Screen time. It's like being wrapped in a blanket of cheese. Until the piece is disturbed within the news report describing how, society's falling apart with all these questions. They don't know what to do. To the point where the poor news anchor even has a crisis breakdown. So the Council of Elders calls forth the troublemakers, the Sinclair household, because, it's the baby's fault. Okay, so, sorry, I just have to talk about this as somebody who's been watching the show for a while. When did the transition happen? Because, there was a council of grand elders, quote-unquote, early in the show, but they were way more mysterious-like. I'll show a clip if I feel compelled. They actually have a book from the old times, too. So either there's a continuity error or there was a total erasure of
father shall be
History.
a blithering idiot.
And so eventually it comes down to the decision of the questions can't really be taken back. And instead they should call forth all the great minds to basically establish the first religion. A simple book of answers, if you will. And as well, to make sure that this spreads well easily, they also call forth the biggest boob in the land, which happens to be Earl Sinclair, imagine that. To make sure that, it's a digestible thing for everybody. And unfortunately, we only get 3 participants in. The first one has quite the profound out there idea, second one might be Raptor Jesus, but the third one, well, he brings forth potatoism.
Okay, picture this. A giant magic flying potato swoops down, makes a few magical gestures, bing bang boom, universe! Huh? What?
And of course they go with it because this is a big question, a big problem, and he's hungry. Yeah. So, potatoism is the choice religion, the first religion. And, boy. Whew. And so the answers to the questions all roll out. Here, I'll let you have a good gander in here at this.
The answers to all questions relating to the meaning of life have been found. Please have a pen or pencil ready to copy down the following information. Question number 1. Where did we come from?
Dinosaurs and all living things were created by the great potato, an omnipotent, all-knowing, starchy tuber who rules the universe.
What is the nature of dinosaurs?
Each dinosaur is like a single potato, springing forth from the earth with eyes to see the world around it and lots of potassium.
How do you spell potassium?
Huh? P-O-T-A.
Don't forget it.
What is our purpose on this earth?
Our purpose is to serve the great potato by giving our troubled, questioning minds a rest, confident that the great book of potato will provide all the answers we need.
Potatoism. Now get back to work.
What a joke! Did they actually believe we'd be stupid enough to fall for this garbage?
And so we see that Robbie Sinclair, he cannot stand it. He cannot stand the indoctrination happening left and right. All in the sake of potatoism. A religion that was invented less than a day ago, but they're treating like it's utter gospel, and like they couldn't live without it. Despite the fact that their society has been running so on and so forth. And it really brings into an interesting conversation about our own society. If we could function without religion, would we even have come to be without it? And honestly, I'm going to say no, I feel like to simply, refer to the episode. The question why/who will come up eventually, and if you don't have the science for it, well, you do need something to fill in, lest you have a bunch of screaming lunatics who can't handle the existential dread of existence. In the very beginning, it was just the female body and the moon, because, the sun and the moon. And, well, that's where babies come from, so that's gotta be magical. And as we got more complex, as did our religion. And we saw the expression of many different ones come to and come pass. And we see some that are rather old, and the impact that they've left on our society today. The most popular book club in the world. The Bible. Christianity. And I think like anything, with religion, has the power to do some good. I do believe in the power of collective thought/prayer. So, Robbie's parents, Earl and Fran, make the worst decision. They call the cop/conversion camp on him. Oh, no, not for being gay this time, for being non-potatoism. I lied, it's actually worse than that. They're gonna burn him at the stake. And so Earl desperately searches, because Fran says, "They didn't find something in the book that could possibly justify this." And it's tragic, because this is real. This is something that happened in the past. A lot. And And so Earl can't find anywhere in the book that could justify this. He proclaims it.
It doesn't say. I guess this book doesn't have all the answers. What did you say?
And it's to his hubris, as now he is added to the planned bonfire. And so the sermon begins. They get ready to light that fire, and as it starts to burn, suddenly a large gust of wind comes along and blows it out, proving that it is in fact not the will of the Great Potato. I don't know, I guess somebody cares about the dinosaurs. Is it Jim Henson? Is Jim Henson their god, technically? We see a beautiful ending as Fran, would put it forward.
Right, we all need answers, but we can't make the mistake of accepting the first answer that's handed to us just because it's there.
But we like that because it was easy.
But it turned out to be a fraud, didn't it?
Well, yes.
So what have you learned?
Well, we have to explore and think, and after a personal spiritual quest, decide what the answers are for ourselves.
Yes.
And then kill everyone who disagrees with us.
Yes.
No. Everyone must be allowed to believe what they want to.
Whether it's a coughing warthog or, what was the one said, the lily pad thing, or, just all sorts of crazy ideas. And Earl and Robbie get to look into the stars, asking for the first time, I wonder what's the deal with those? And Earl humbly says, son, I hadn't thought about it, but I think I will now.
But now I think I will.
What an episode, huh? In conclusion, that is what happens when religion gets out of control. What happens when it takes over your life, and what happens when it fuses with governmental power, even. And at the end of the day, it was a ploy to get dinosaurs to go back to work, stop questioning everything around them, and control. And whether people are ready to accept that or not, that is something that religion is very deeply rooted in. If you control over this imaginary friend or idea of a person and say you can't do this, this, and that under their guise, you have quite the influence over people. You have power. So, I want you all to think about that whenever it is that you are doing religious practices that restrict you in certain ways. That isn't to say defy them, but just...
Please, consider the following.
Thank you guys for watching. No matter what you practice, what you preach, as long as you're not hurting nobody. Chill. Cool. Have a nice day. Like and subscribe. Or don't. I don't really care.